Hello, so today I'm gonna take a look at a 2-year-old Chevy Impala. So why am I doing this video series? So the whole point of this series is to see how cars perform when they have aged a bit, like a couple of years. Because I mean, not everybody buys a brand new car every time. And some models like this Impala, that doesn't seem to have any 2021 or 22 models. That's why I'm doing this review. This is on top of how the car drives and sits, and also to see how they perform when they age just a bit. So I'm looking for vehicle performance, drivability after a couple of years. So like this car is 2 years old and it has gone through about 40,000 miles. I think it's 39,000 right now. So see how worn the engine, the transmission is, how smoothly it drives, whether there's any clunking or any rattling sounds. I'm looking at the paintwork. The paintwork should be original. So to see whether the paintwork's gone nicely, or gone well, or whether it's a bit pear-shaped. And then as well as the interior, whether it has degraded, etc, etc. So the best way to look at how a car that's worn a couple of years, whether it still performs well, is to look at rental cars. So this car's a 2-year-old rental. They tend to be a good baseline to for a used car. Like it's because rental cars more so often they gotta be maintained at its bare minimum. So maybe just your oil change, your tires, and that's about it. Everything else is just gonna be neglected as is. They're not gonna replace the interior just because the passengers have all used it, really abused it. So it's a good baseline, as I said. So as I said, this car is a 2020 model Impala, and it's configured in an LT. Let me go close up for you. So as you can see here, LT, and it's branded here as a V6, but then Wikipedia says that it's an inline 6. But in any case, we call it a 6-cylinder. And let me go around here. You can see it's a flex fuel, which is nice. The rims are all stock, and in my driving, they don't seem to have warped at all, which is nice. The lights are all halogen. It's pretty standard for a base model like this. It's yellow. They look quite dark, but then it's yellow light looks it's better for our eyes at night. But then I would change it to HID if I were to buy this car. But that's not mine, as I said. So let's take a close look at the paintwork here. Paintwork's held up really well. You can see here. Let me take a couple of close-ups. So the paintwork's held up really nicely. It's unlikely to have been repainted before, being a rental. I mean, they're not going to refurbish a car every year or so, and paints like this generally last a couple of years. But then there are scratches that look like using towels that have dirt in them. So yeah, it's held up really well. I just got it washed just now to show you how the paint condition is like. Yeah, the windows, the solar film, I'm not sure if that comes standard, but then solar films deteriorated just a little. But other than that, it's fine, it's alright, I guess. Now I'm gonna step inside and see how it drives. So anyway, all 4 doors have locks, the lock release or lock button. That's nice. Let's go to the interior. So the interior, the leathers held up nicely, very nice. The steering wheel, it's shiny, which is normal for when you have a lot of greasy hands that touch it. But the stitches, they still look fine, even though it's been about 2 years. Hope you can see it. Let me yeah, it looks fine. The dashboard is leather, it's soft touch leather, so it absorbs the sound very well. The entertainment system, infotainment system is rather dated. As you can see here, it's not like the other 2020 models from GM or Chevy. But it works. There's no denying that. As usual for most of the GM and Chevys, you have this nice space here where you can put your stuff in. Let's close it. The AC still works. I cannot say how well you'll perform under the hot summer weather, but as because right now it's coming to spring, winter's just ended. So other than that, it's really nice. The leather seats still up to scratch even after 2 years, and still the power steering still fine. I cannot comment on whether it's been repaired before, because I wouldn't know the service history. They're not going to tell you the service history, but power steering still fine. The suspension, the absorbers. So the trunk is huge, as you expect from a full-size vehicle like this. Then you have room for spare tire. I think this is a compact spare tire, it's not a full size, but it'll work. It should work just fine for lower speeds or when you have a flat. If you have a flat, there's space to put your tools here. And I've shoved in a couple of large luggages into this space, and a couple of TVs and monitors, and it held up just nice. Yeah, it doesn't close that well. For a car like this, I'll probably mod it with automatic boot release. You know, like one of those automatic tailgates, automatic trunk release, where it just lifts up by itself, the motorized ones. Average fuel economy hovers around 22 to 25, depending on how much cruising you're doing or how hard you throttle the car. And the engine probably lasts about 300 miles on a full tank. Let me check how many gallons it is. I'll put it in the video. So, but other than that, it's nice. The dash is simple, just as expected. Let's look at the rear of the car. The car closes with a nice start. So the rear is very roomy. I'm 5'8", and you can see here, that's a lot of room. After all, it's a full-size car, it's a large car. Don't mind the tripod. There's rear aircon vents. It's a nice touch, but then again, it should be quite standard nowadays for modern cars. You can see here the room, it's really roomy. The headboard is still performing alright. It's not really naked or anything. Yeah, the car's held up really well actually. It's rather comfortable in here. Yeah. So anyway, let's move on to the driving test. As a passenger, I feel really comfortable, like I could just take a nap and fall asleep. Alright, let's go back to the driver's seat and let's see how it performs. Well, this car drives like a really bread and butter car, really. There's nothing much to complain about. It's front wheel drive, it's a sedan, a saloon car. Well, I mean, as I said, nothing much to complain about. Even though it's been this car's 2 years old, there's still not much creaking going on, which is a really good thing. Because there are other cars like Fords that I've driven before, they're just a year old and they're already, the interior's rattling, like really irritating rattling. So this car's done really well. For a 2-year-old car, there's as I said, there's about 40,000 miles on it, 38,900, and other than that, it's all right. The car still drives really smoothly, and the engine, the transmission, it kicks in when you need it, but then when you don't really need it, you just want to cruise, it cruises really smoothly, and that's one of the key things I like about this car. Alright, as you can hear, there's nothing much going on. I did notice the sound system isn't really that nice. It feels shallow. The bass and the treble, it just doesn't feel right. It feels hollow, like an FM radio, and the FM radio doesn't seem to have HD radio, by the way. I'm not really sure if HD radio was enabled by default. That's the only option, or there isn't HD radio at all, but then there doesn't seem to be. It feels very muffled, like when you turn the HD radio off. So there's that as well. Not all countries will have HD radio. I'm talking about the car. I'm in the US right now. It's a US car, US model car, so engine feels smooth. The soundproofing, it feels really nice, like it's still there. It's not like some other cars I've experienced before where, you know, you just after a year or two, the soundproofing either absorbs moisture and renders ineffective, or the other way around, it dries up and it's also rendered ineffective. But this car's soundproof really nicely. Leather seats wise, it's fine. There's no heating or whatsoever, but because it's leather, it's still alright. The interior, not sure if you can see, but it feels really nice. I'll give you some close-up shots in a while. One thing I noticed about GM cars like Chevys is they don't seem to have auto brake hold, so you gotta do it manually, which well, it's a minor inconvenience, but you know, there you see. It's either you got to press the brake all the time, or you got to do what I did, shift to neutral and put the parking brake on. The parking brake is right here. It's alright. Some cars they have it right at the center console, but this car, and most GMs I noticed, they are at the side. So it's an alright place to host the parking brake at. It's an electronic parking brake. Not that it really matters. Just absolute silence when you stop at a light. Besides the sound of the idling truck behind us. Yeah, it's a really nice drive. I'm letting the car coast right now. It coasts really well. The combination of the inertia of the car and the way it handles coasting, it's really nice. It coasts and it glides for a really long time, maintaining its speed. Unlike there are a couple of other cars, as I said, driven before, that when you take the foot off the pedal, the car just jerks or it slows down really quickly. But this car, it glides really nicely. It soaks up bumps well. That's a good thing about it. The car doesn't rattle when it goes through bumps or irregularities on road, imperfections on road, it just feels smooth enough. It's not like you're gliding, you're floating in the air, which is not a very good thing to feel in a car. If the car feels floaty, that doesn't feel right. It can get quite nauseating. But on the other hand, it soaks up the bumps just nice. So really, as I say, it's a bread and butter car. It drives smoothly. There's power when you need to pick up. Going through your average American suburban road, it glides very, very nicely. It's driving this car, this Impala, it's rather relaxing actually. Wouldn't mind saying that. Yeah, it's rather relaxing. No stress. But then again, when you need to merge into the freeways, the interstates, or you know, you need to pick up, the power's there. The 3.6 liter V6, or is it inline 6? I think. Yeah, Wikipedia said it was inline 6, but then the branding behind the car, as you saw just now, was V6. Yeah, the 6-cylinder engine. Let's call it a 6-cylinder engine. The 6-cylinder engine, it gives you power when you need it, but then when you don't need it, cruises nicely. I'm just gliding right now, just following the car in front. Nice cloudy weather today. It's 64 degrees today. It's a really warm day. I mean, considering it was just snowing just a couple of days ago. It was snowing really badly. Like the AccuWeather's real feel was 0 actually. Yeah, let's sub-0 Fahrenheit. And then now it's 64 outside. I'm not even stepping on the full throttle, and it's already going really fast. Or at least it feels rather fast. The engine, there's a nice grunt to it. It doesn't feel dead, which is good. I've driven cars before that, even though they have power, just like yeah, example would be Infiniti QX60. It had power, like it goes when you need it. The engine, yes, power when you need it, but then it just sounds like dead. Like it droned a lot. But this car is fine. Dead end. Alright, so let me just that was full throttle, and it sounded nice. It had power when you need it. Now let me just slow down. And then going through the roads, it feels nice, like well, comforting, relaxing, as I said, really. Do not stop on tracks. Nice weather and nice cruising. You can't really have anything better than that, can it? Sometimes I do hear creaking or rattling coming from here, but that's quite normal, it seems, for cars, even sometimes new cars, they do have it here. You can fix it yourself if you feel really irritated by it, which I will do it if it's my own car, but it's not. And other than that, it's fine. The only creaking you're gonna get is if you don't secure your shopping or your stuff properly in the car. Going through the uneven roads, it's a breeze. Corners really nicely too. Not sure if you can see the halogen has kicked in. There's automatic headlights, which is a nice touch. You can just turn it on and forget. And since they're not HIDs, they are halogens, you can just go at it on and off all you want. Not an issue. Unlike if you're HIDs, they're gonna be damaged really easily, really quickly if you were to just leave it, keep on turning on and off like automatic. So for cars with HID lights, I would turn off auto headlights because of that. Just a small detail to note. You can see here it corners effortlessly. It's just nice. It's tuned really nicely to ensure a comfortable experience. The steering, it's light enough that you can cruise, but then there's just nice of a heft to it when you need it. It's like a feeling kind of thing. Going through the uneven dirt roads here. Just to show you the miles per gallon. As you can see, it glides very nicely. It's the fuel economy on this, as I said, is about 22 to 25, and for 3.6, that's quite remarkable in my book actually. Most cars around this tend to perform way less than 25 miles per gallon. So yeah, it's not bad actually. And the driving position's rather comfortable once you've adjusted. Like it's quite laid back, but at the same time you feel like you're in command when you need it. It's not like you're just squeezed in even at the furthest of positions. Cornering's a breeze. there are really occasional moments where the transmission skips a bit, so to speak, but that's more of the exception rather than the norm. Alright, let's go to the freeway. Wow, that's a really bad accident there. Oh, with a motorbike laid flat on the ground behind the van. Wow, it's not good. Yeah, I noticed in the US there's really few motorbikes or electric well, scooters, motorbikes so to speak. It's quite rare actually. Even stuff like, you know, Harleys, like what you see on TV, what I see on TV, on popular TV. Yeah, it's quite rare in real life actually. And unlike Asian countries or where I'm from, Singapore, there's a lot of motorbikes just zipping around, roaming around the roads, and they can be quite dangerous, a real hazard actually. And over here it's quite relaxing, like you don't have to keep looking over your shoulder literally to see whether there's any bikes weaving in and out and lane splitting on the expressways. So on one hand there's that, and on the other hand, yeah, driving's, well, I cannot comment much. Driving's different in every country. Yeah, but besides those unregistered electric motorbikes that I see roaming around in Queens and Brooklyn, other than that, yeah, there's really not much. Or revels, so to speak. Anyway, talking about the features of this car, it's rather basic. For at least for 2019-2020 model, it doesn't have stuff like pre-collision warning. I think that's available but it's optional. It doesn't have like as I said, auto brake hold, automatic cruise control, all those sort of gadgets. It's alright, gives you control over the car, but then if you're gonna cruise over long distances, then those features will be really nice to have. Just going over the bridge now. So when, let's say I want to overtake this van, it has power to overtake, and that's a really nice thing. You can see I've overtaken the van. It's gliding, the fuel's not being in use, and it's just gliding really effortlessly, which is nice. Still not stepping on the accelerator, still not stepping on the throttle. Let's see how it corners. It corners really nicely. Like it doesn't slide off, or it doesn't feel like the car's going to just stutter at any moment. It's stable enough. No complaints there. Going over bumps, as I said, as you've seen over the past couple of minutes since the start of the video, it's fine. Sonata's a nice car. I used to drive the Kia Optima for more than a year, I think a year and a half, and it's a really nice car. It's just that it was 7 years old when I bought it, and it was creaking everywhere, and I remember just dismantling the pillars, the headboard, everything, and stuff a lot of foam inside them. Oh, I need to turn left here. Yeah, that was not a very nice experience, having to dismantle the entire car. It's greasy and it's aged, and then it's just breaking down. And then, you know, yeah, shoving foam inside them so that it doesn't creak, or the foam absorbs all that creaking noises. It can get really irritating after a while. Well, I'm cruising at about 80, following the cars in front, and it's not bad. I mean, of course, there are the usual stuff, like the rims are not balanced or lying well enough, so there's a bit of a vibration going on. You may be able to see it in the camera.
Use the right 2 lanes to keep right.
Yep, that's ways. Anyway, yeah, but other than that, it's not bad actually. It's going really smoothly. Let me look at the instantaneous fuel economy. It's going about 50 miles per gallon on the freeway. That's not bad, not bad. Pretty decent. It's relaxing, but it's not overly tiring, which is good. It's just nice, tuned just nice. So I want to overtake right now, so all I have to do is to step on the throttle a bit more. Yep, it's going really nicely. Look, a nice bunch of geese here. If only I could just catch a nice fat juicy bird and cook it for dinner. It looks juicy actually. So what do I reckon about this 2-year-old Chevy Impala? Well, it's a really nice car to drive. There's no denying that. It feels very smooth to cruise, yet it has a lot of power to overtake or to merge into freeways, expressways, or what have you, or when you just need it. And well, the paintwork's held up really nicely, besides the usual scratches, by using dirty cloths to wipe them. You should always use a microfiber towel and make sure it's clean to dry your car. Now anyway, besides that, drive smoothly. There's no major issues about it, and well, I have no major complaints about this car. So anyway, if you like this video, please give it a like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you soon in the next video. So bye for now.